Welcome back to the Gmen Command Post. I'm your host, Gene Sannon, and today we're breaking down the New York Giants 21-18 win over the Los Angeles Chargers. This is our first win of the season, boys, so let's give it a clap. There's a lot to talk about. Stats, key plays, injuries to Malik Neighbors, and of course, my unfiltered thoughts. Let's dive into it. Alright, so let's dive into some key stats. I'm going to be using my phone here to read them off, so please bear with me. Quarterback Jaxson Dart had 111 yards, one shuffle passing touchdown to Theo Johnson, plus 10 carries, 54 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Was sacked 5 times by the Chargers defense, had a 2-point conversion completed to running back Cam Scatterbull. Speaking of Cam Scatterbull, he had 25 carries, 79 yards, 2 catches for 11 yards on the air. Wide receiver Darius Slayton had 3 catches for 44 yards. Malik Neighbors 2 catches for 20 yards. More on Neighbors later. The defense, Sexy Dexy with an interception that nearly went for a touchdown. Drew Phillips with an interception. Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau with a sack each. The Chargers, quarterback Justin Herbert 23 for 41, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Quentin Johnson had 8 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Omarion Hampton, 12 carries for 120 yards. Rookie was almost unstoppable. They should have kept feeding him the ball, but I don't know what their guy was thinking, man. On the defense, Tulipoli, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that right at all. He exploded with 4 sacks on Jaxson Dart. Stat-wise, the Chargers probably outshined the New York Giants in almost every single category. But them boys came to play. So let's dive into some of the key stats of this game. Jaxson Dart had a rushing touchdown giving the Giants an early 7-zip lead. Momentum swing. Sexy Dexy's interception set up a Giants field goal giving them a 10-zip lead. They should have scored that touchdown. However, we'll take a 10-zip lead. Herbert fined Quentin Johnson for a touchdown, making it 10-7. Dart hit Theo Johnson on a shuffle pass for a touchdown and then connect with Cam Scatterbull on a 2-point conversion. Giants go up 21-10. Omarion Hampton rips off a big run. That boy could not be stopped. As a rookie, seeing him go off like that when, the entire beginning, his very first, 2-3 games, he wasn't producing as much as he was. But tonight, I guess tonight was his night. For whatever reason, the Giants could not bring him down. The defense held up, though. I'm proud of these Giants, man. I gotta tell you, the defense finally shows up, right? Drew Phillips' interception plus sack from Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau sealed it. Despite Tui, I'm gonna call him Tui because I can't pronounce his name for. Anyways, he had 4 sacks. They couldn't stop him at all. My man came to play this game. So, let's talk about it. We saw Jaxson Dart's first start. Seeing him running into the end zone for his very first New York Giants touchdown, man, I was happy. I was very worried for them starting him because the whole plan was to have him sit behind Russell and learn. He was not supposed to start. So the fact that they rushed him, I felt like, Brian Daboll was just trying to save his job. I felt like, they should have, given him time to marinate and sit down and learn. But, with them probably fearing for their jobs, they decided, okay, we're going to start him. I was like, all right, cool. But, if he fails, we're going to have another Daniel Jones situation. But thank goodness that's not exactly what happened now, is it? We saw the defense come out and stand their ground. Seeing Sexy Dexy.
What if we replace the gritty with the sexy Dexy? Sexy.
Seeing that guy come out with an interception with early rumors that he was a little disgruntled. Seeing him almost score a touchdown. Seeing the defense hold together. Seeing Drew Phillips interception. That just made me proud. Kayvon Thibodeau, one of I forgot like which round that he was in, but you know, like everybody came in and they were like, you know, they were looking at him to come out and produce and do something. And you know, like early season, off season rumors was that they were gonna trade him or whatnot. Nah, he came out. He's a big part of our defense. You know, he got his sack, and you know, Brian Burns, Mr. Spider-Man himself, man. I can't say it enough. I'm so proud, you know. As a Giants fan, it gives you nothing but hope that, you know, like that they're gonna be able to gel, that they're gonna, you know, like build some confidence off of this. The Chargers, they came out, man, and they outplayed the Giants in a lot of plethora. But you know, for their quarterback, I don't know what happened to him, but you know, he came out, he was not sharp, throws 2 interceptions, you know, and I'm grateful. I'm happy. You know, I'm really happy. Our O-line is still a big concern because in the end of the day, they still gave up 5 sacks. But you know, our quarterback Jaxson Dart, the Dart Vader, man, came out to play, and he did his thing. You know, I can't say enough about it. I'm hoping that they take this, that they build off of it, and next week, you know, they come out to play. You know, it's a step down in competition in terms of what the Chargers bring versus what New Orleans brings. But you know what? Every single day, every single game, we got to take it step by step, and I'm hoping that them boys continue. So, Giants avoid an 0-4 start, finally showing some fight. The defense showed that they actually really have some playmakers. The defensive coordinator finally shows that he has some backbone. Dart's development isn't trash. Hopefully, you know, it's the sky's the limit and they continue to build from here. The Chargers felt more talented in terms of, you know, the pieces that they have, but the Giants show that they're on the up and up. I get it. This is just the very first win. This is the very first time that they've done anything noteworthy, but it's a start. And with New Orleans coming in next week, they have an opportunity to grow. And that's all you could really ask for. Could this win spark some momentum, or is it just a one-off? I don't know. I like the way that our offense showed up. I like the way that our defense showed up. But the only thing that really has me worried is the fact that our quarterback is still young, still learning, still developing, and we were dealt a really big blow. Just as I was doing this show, Schefter tweeted that Malik Neighbors has an ACL tear and he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. So I saved the worst news for last. It sucks because Malik Neighbors is one of our best offensive weapons that we have, and we're gonna have to do this season without him. That's really unfortunate news. But we still have a complementary offense. We still have Cam Scadaboo. We still have our receiving core. So although this is terrible news, I think we'll be okay. We gotta stick together, Giants fans. Let's get this done. And that's a wrap on Gmen Command Post. New York Giants 21, Chargers 18. Finally, a win to build on. Dart, Sexy Dexy, Cam Scadaboo all came out to play. They showed guts, they were gritty, and they showed you something to build on. And that's the difference in this game. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Hit that subscribe, drop a comment, and remember to share it with your friends. Thank you, and that's all for the Gmen Command Post. Go Big Blue.